Righty. That's the meeting started. Let's go live on Facebook. Hi there. Welcome back to Friday Lives with Pet Sitting Success for Aspiring Entrepreneurs. The last 2 weeks I've been unable to give you a live stream because my building was covered, absolutely covered in scaffolding and workmen who were replacing the outside of my building. And were very loud and very active for the whole time. It was absolutely crazy. But I also managed to get a holiday while they were working on it, so I wasn't all that bad. And I managed to get away to staying in the Lake District and going to go walking with real wolves. And wow, just as wolves are my favorite animal, everyone's got one if you're an animal lover. And just the opportunities that we have in the UK to do things like that are getting so much better. And it was by far the most amazing in-person experience I've ever had with wolves. Uh, so, I mean, what can you say? I got to stand with four wolves all around me while I gave them kibble and people took photographs. It was yeah, a dream coming true almost. Uh, so unfortunately, my dreams were dashed about the hopes of ever returning wolves to the UK, but that's all right. I can always go back to Yellowstone to see them in the wild. So today is Friday Live. Topic is going to be carrying on from what we were talking about last time I actually was able to come on camera. We were talking about your sort of first contact with the client and what you need to uh, get and how to come across professionally. And it's bled into becoming about a meet and greet as well. So I decided to do a separate meet and greet because it was too much to take in the last time all in one go. So we only really covered what you do when you first meet someone. So getting on with everything, let me just quickly get my ducks in a row. Oh, there we go. Uh, there we go. And yeah, so why is the meet and greet? First of all, I help new pet sitters who feel nervous about meeting clients to achieve confidence and win bookings by mastering professional meet and greets, even if they struggle with self-doubt and inexperience. Um, you you might underestimate the power of a meet and greet. You're thinking maybe, I'm not in this business for spending time impressing people. I want to be playing with pets. Um, it's it's a vital point in sort of making sure that you get to the pets. It's your job interview, basically. So it's more than just saying hello. You've got to build trust, show your professionalism, and it's really beneficial when you're first starting out because it builds a foundation of professionalism from the very beginning. You'll never have to go through what I went through, which is turning up. Well, I mean, to be fair, when I started out, there wasn't much information online or easily accessible about pet sitting businesses. So I really just had to wing it to begin with. And I didn't get all of my first clients because I didn't really know how to approach the meet and greet. And the the sort of panic arose. Eventually, I got a couple of clients that were doing all right, but I wasn't really feeling that there was much life, sort of customer life in these clients, that there were only going to be a couple of jobs here and there, and that was not what we're looking for. We're looking for a consistent profitability on our business so that we can be a sole trader and commit our time to actually doing this business. And so for me, it's been pretty much I've done all the hard work it takes to find out what doesn't work and help by showing you what has worked. Oh, let's see if I don't know what's going on with my. Sorry, I'm trying to share my screen with you. It will just be a second. Just share. There we are. So yeah, you're ready to turn your love of animals into thriving pet sitting business, and this will help you transform yourself from a nervous newcomer. So yeah, again, we'll go over kind of why it's important um, to master your meet and greets. So very much, it's your job interview. It's your chance to prove um, you're reliable and trustworthy, and it makes it become a business decision for the client. So, like I said, I messed up at the beginning. I wasn't perfect, and for me, that's really hard to admit. I've always been someone who considers themselves a bit of a perfectionist, and if I don't get 100% at university, for example, my first ever assignment, I think it was 88%. Um, and I went to the lecturer and I said, I just want to know what I can do better. And she said, it's not that you did anything wrong, it's that I never give a first paper 100%. Which I thought was, well, yeah, it gave an indication of how like cruel and really, really hard working we had to be to stay on that degree course because it was only a 14% graduation rate. So I've burned through hell in not just the business world, but in the academic world to get where I am today. So believe me, I've tried everything. So what we want to see with the meet and greet is that you kind of change over from where you've been being a hobby or being a side hustle only into being a full on, this is a business, this is how I make my living, and this is how I can pay for holidays and do all the nice things that you want to do around about your own schedule. So oh, I think I've missed a little bit, but yeah, you want to be building self-confidence as well while you're at this. Uh, my computer's a little bit slow today, so I'm just having a little bit trouble bringing everything up when I want it, but it doesn't matter. We're here for the ride, aren't we? So yes, trust is everything. Pet parents are handing over the keys to their heart essentially when they hand over your um, pet sitting, and there's 5 things for preparing for your meet and greet. I feel like everything's messed up on my computer. I'm terribly sorry. Right. Right. So yeah, the first thing you want to do, get yourself prepared, get yourself the right equipment, the right documents, and the right questions. You want to demonstrate your professionalism, to differentiate yourselves from your competitors, and demonstrate your reliability. So never turn up late. Always try to aim to be like 5 minutes early. People don't want to think about you lazing about, not being on the ball about your pets, about their pets. So being early, being prepared, building that confidence, and at the end of it, you are more likely to book that client than had you just turned up wearing what you were wearing, when you just threw on some clothes, hair a mess, or over done up with makeup and high heel shoes. That's also completely inappropriate for a pet sitting interview. I'll tell you a story about my first ever job interview. And I've had a lot of jobs. Yeah. Sometimes the pet sitting industry when I started wasn't paying me well enough, but that's because I hadn't learned all the things I know now. And technology has really helped and improved, and COVID has really helped and improved. But back when I was a teenager just out of school, 17 years old, and there was a job going as the cleaner in the pet section of a large sort of department store, mostly a DIY sort of store, but it had a pet section and a garden section. Um, and the job was the lowliest of low jobs. It was cleaning the enclosures from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. Monday through Friday. So they needed someone who didn't mind cleaning pee and poo for a living, who was there for 8 a.m. Well, before 8 a.m. to get started work at 8 a.m. And that was about it for the qualification. So when I turned up for the interview, I was already overqualified. I'd helped train Shetland ponies when I was a kid. I was completely in charge of the cleaning of my own pets at home, which at that time was a cockatiel and a couple of rabbits and some mice and a frog. Uh, and then of course there was my mum's dog, and yeah, there was already a lot of animals in the house, and that made me more than qualified for that job. But it was my first ever job interview, so I dressed smart, practical shoes, clean outfit, and got that job. And that really is where I really learned so much on that job. I walked in, I hardly knew anything. I was so lucky to have a mentor in my boss, the boss of the pet department, that is. She really taught me so much about all the other animals, and then the rest of the time, I would read after I'd finished working. I would pop into the book section of the pet shop, and I read every single book that we had for sale on every single animal on my way or on my breaks, after I started working longer hours. But yeah, I started off as the cleaner, and I was assistant manager 6 months later. So that just goes to show you that when you're willing to learn and do things right from the beginning, then you really are going to soar and survive and thrive. So hard facts about first impressions is that you never get a second chance. Um, Basically, 82% of your clients decide whether to book a sitter based on their impression at the meet and greet. I apart from starting off very very young in looking after animals, I was very much an introvert, very, very shy child. That's why I tended to gravitate towards the animals and commune with them silently, and really build bonds with animals because I didn't, I found people confusing. I found it hard to kind of understand what they were saying sometimes with different accents. You may have noticed that I have a Scottish accent, but there's so many different accents that I have not got the accent of my local area that I live in. Um, and that makes it a little bit difficult for me to actually understand what people are saying. But hey, introverted child, by the time I was getting to the first job and I was having to deal, I wasn't having to deal with customers yet. That's what it was. I didn't know like enough to be doing the selling part. I was only trained to do the cleaning part initially. But because I was always at work, I soon got trained up and learned and got moved into being able to sell animals as well. And that's where I learned the most important rule that my dad used to say about customer service. And that was the customer is always right. Well, you've got to get to act like the customer is always right. The customer is everything. If you start off your interaction by telling them what they should be doing, that's not how it works. You give them the option of what you do and tell them that everything they do with their animal you will do exactly as they do, because apart from that being part of the law about boarding animals, it's definitely the same thing to be considered when you're sitting in on animals as well. And if you do it all with a smile and you treat the customers like they are up on a pedestal, um, and treat their pets in the same way, by the way, yeah, that's a good one, then your clients are much more likely to go, right, I like you, you considered me and my concerns above all else. You didn't walk in and say, I know what I'm doing, I'll look after your pet. You said, what do you want me to do when I'm looking after your pet? So yeah, a first impression of having the attitude that the customer is always right. Having sales, and sales, you always have to sell with a smile. So whether that's retail, whether that's your customer service on a phone, or if you're just replying to an email, do it with a smile. That's always been the way to do it. You have a more positive attitude when you smile, and people respond to you when you smile. I sat in on a webinar recently about performances, and it said that there was so it was another 80% or so of people with a smile inspire more confidence. So smile. Customer is always right. And so the other thing, carrying on with our meet and greets, 60% of people disputes arise from unclear expectations. So I've got what I call my record of achievement here. In that I've got all my relevant information. So my license for boarding animals, my business insurance, my disclosure, and my pet first aid. Those are the first ones that I show, and that's what I've been telling in the previous sessions, is the things that you need to have to get your business going. So that's what your customer is going to want to see. If you turn up and your contracts as well, which I keep in a clipboard. I keep the contracts there with a pen already in it, and you should be filling out your contracts while you're at your meet and greet. assuming it's all going well. Well, I mean, never mind. You would rather have that half-fill contract started uh, than not be prepared and forget everything that's been said at the beginning. So there's a 70% higher retention rate for businesses that master the onboarding process. I would say that even higher for pet care. I've had meet and greets where I've gone and I've looked after the pet, and afterwards, um, they've said that was great, but we're not going away for a while. But then when they do go away, they still get in touch. With pets, if you're trusted by someone, then the humans trust you for life. It's a great thing that you get. It's not just their current pets, any future pets they have, and that's an exciting bit of news from one of my clients. Is they're looking to get a puppy, and the next time their lovely boy comes, he may have one of his nephews or niece, I think nephew probably, um, coming to visit too. So that's really exciting. Not only do I get to board the dog from a puppy age, um, and show them that this is what holiday fun can be like. It comes with the confidence that he's lived with the dog already, so he has a security blanket, a living security blanket coming with him. So that's quite good. So a structured professional first meeting between a pet sitter and a potential client is designed to establish trust, gather essential information, that's the contract, and confirm mutual expectations before the care begins. So in your contracts, you should have your rates per pay. You should have when your definition of when you're going to be doing the job. For my frequent flyer customers, I also get them to fill in a rolling contract with proof of vaccinations as they're updated. So I put the rolling contract as a 12-month. If any information changes, the client signs that it's up to them to give me that information. So it covers you from all sides. I'm particularly aware about covering myself right now because there's been horrendous 2 stories in the last couple of years, well, last year or so actually, and that's been of dog walkers that have uh, returned unwell or injured animals, dogs, to their home, and ended up that the pets have had tragic outcomes because of it. The first one, the sitter, the dog walker lied, outright lied to the owner that something what happened had not happened. Like there was nothing that had happened. As the story progressed over the space of just a couple of hours, it got to the point where someone put in someone showed dash cam footage of the dog being hit by a car in rush hour traffic in heavy rain at a really busy junction, and the dog walking company simply refused to answer any calls from the owner. The owner had to set up a crowdfunding to pay for the serious vet bills. The dog had to go under, get some operations done, and it was absolutely scandalous. And as a result, a whole bunch of other stories came out from other customers of that particular dog walking company, and it really has put a fear into a lot of people that they can't trust who they give handing their dog over to. And this has been compounded by an even more horrendous incident in the last couple of weeks. It was during August. Another local to my area, Lanarkshire, delivered a dog that had been taken out during the heat wave, delivered it home with heat stroke, and by the time the dog's owner got home, the dog had unfortunately left us, gone over the Rainbow Bridge. Now, again, the dog walker lied. He said the dog had been walking fine, no problem, when he returned to the house. There was no sign of anything wrong with the dog. Well, again, the camera told a different story. The Ring doorbell camera that the owner of the dog had shows the man delivering the dog home by carrying him into the house. And so, again, caught out on a lie. Now, I know that I would be appalled to be doing that because I have pet first aid training, I have insurance, I have credibility, I have owner trust, and I know that cameras are everywhere, and so I do what I say I'm going to do when I'm supposed to do it, and I do not provide services that will do any harm to the animal. And these things are things that I can straight up show in my little meet and greet pack. You know, my licensing, my insurance, my police background check, my first aid certificate, all my other little bits that I keep in there, everything up to my degree certificate and my study of zoology, all the modules that I've done online. I've even got my license for selling alcohol that I achieved 21 years ago. I keep that in there because it shows trust, it shows professionalism throughout my entire career. Even my certificate of Pass Plus for after my driving license, I got a Pass Plus. Um, these things all show that I'm not just in it for let's get as much money per day as we can. I'm a professional. And the other things that I keep in here is a register of all the other local home boarders in case I need to pass a reference on. If I'm not right for the job or if it's not the right fit, I'm always happy to pass my customers on to someone who will be the right fit because let's face it, there is no shortage of animals. And I keep the full Environmental Health Institute of Scotland Animal Boarding Establishments Acts printed out so that if the client wants to check something, they can actually look at the laws about pet sitting. That's the kind of level of pack that you want to build. You won't be able to build that immediately though, but you will have the first 4 documents if you're boarding as well. Certainly. So that'll be your insurance, number one, lesson number one, get your insurance first. Number two, get your disclosure. Number three, book your first aid. And number four, apply for your boarding license. So you have your boarding license, pet first aid, police background check, and insurance. Those 4 documents are key to building that trust. So there's a few common misconceptions about a meet and greet, that it's just a quick hello, but it's actually a professional interview. So my first successful interview with a client, the client that ended up staying with me for 17 years, and the only reason is not currently a client, is because we outlived the pets. Basically, for 17 years, I looked after her 2 darling, ferociously shy rescue cats. They were 21 when they passed, and we cried a lot after 17 years of friendship with the owners, because it was my first prepared interview that I went to. I knew that it was a referral from a current client, and I knew that the lady that I was going to meet was an anxious person, and that she didn't like birds, but she was obsessed with her cats, and her cats were quite quiet. So I got myself into a really nice, smart looking outfit, and I went through. I found myself my old notepad that I just bought, because it had a doggy on the front. And so it was there with my fresh notepad and pen, and I wrote down everything they wanted, and she had a list of questions to ask me, and I had a list of questions to ask her, and it worked really well. And like I say, your retention rate is not just 70%, it's usually for the absolute lifetime of that client having pets. So basically, you wouldn't go to an interview without your CV. Um, you might be perfect for the role, but employers need that paperwork sort of side as well. Trust me, again, I have had a lot of jobs. I did temp work for a long time, in offices all over the place. I've done retail work. I've worked in the ambulance service as a receptionist. I've worked in the telecoms industry as an administrator. I've worked in I've worked in so many temp jobs actually that the temp agency made me a recruitment consultant. Yeah, that's how good it got. They trained me up as a recruitment consultant. Now, after years of working in the retail management side, I was well aware of interview techniques and HR that we needed to go through. Um, but I hadn't really gone into the cutthroat side that is recruitment consultant. And let me tell you, it was cutthroat. I got one person a job before my father's health meant that I had to leave that particular position. Um, and I had to fight for this guy to get a job. It was ridiculous. Uh, if you had a spelling mistake on the CV, bin it. There were so many CVs coming in, so many potential clients, and it was a scientific. Um, I was a recruitment consultant for scientific jobs because my degree is a scientific degree. Study of animals is a scientific degree. So that's why they thought I'd be perfect for that department. And oh gosh, I hated that job. I really hated it. I hated how horrible and um, uncaring the recruitment consultant position is. So thankfully, you won't be coming up against that sort of harshness, but you will still have to win some pretty tough hearts when it comes to people handing over their most beloved pets. Um, I mean, they are their fur babies. Animal dogs, for example, only reach the mental age essentially of a toddler. Um, and so they have to be looked after. That I mean, they can't fend for themselves. Certainly, if it was an animal in the wild, you wouldn't have the same concerns. But these are pets, and this is why the pet industry is so wonderful. Is because it's a caring industry, um, for the most part. And if you do it right, um, everyone's happy. Everyone's content with what's going on. So you want to prepare yourself before the meeting, do your research, print your checklists, contract. I've got the emergency contact information within my contract, but you might have a separate sheet for your contract, for your emergency contacts. And your vaccination record. It's up to you how you decide to do it. If you're, well, I will be putting on a webinar soon to promote my Pause and Profits Pathway course that'll be starting soon. One of the benefits of that mentorship program is that I give you the legally compliant forms to use yourself. So you got your meet and greet pack, your bits and bobs, your folder of achievements, your contract forms, a pen, um, business cards. I wouldn't take treats personally. I wouldn't have any treats on me. You never know what allergies an animal might have. You never know what what diets they may have, dietary requirements that they may have. Maybe they're overweight and they have a specific health condition. And if they smell a treat on you, dollars to donuts, they'll find their nose in your pocket while you're talking to the owner. And then you kind of mentally rehearse what you've done. You go over what you've information you've taken up already, if you've done any research on the breed of animal that you're looking after. So arrive early, not just on time, arrive early, smart casual with practical shoes. I generally advise sport type bottoms or leggings over jeans. With jeans maybe, but jeans tend to be, at the moment we're having a fashion trend of jeans, and they're not particularly practical jeans, so I would stay away from jeans at the moment. That's literally just an observation on fashion right now, and that's the sort of thing you might want to consider. Is fashion going to have an effect on the clothes that you own, or do you have to buy some more professional clothes? Every job has some element you might want to dress for the job that you want, rather than just the clothes you have for going out or clothes you have for going to an office. You want something that's professional and clean. You might even want to get your own t-shirts made up. I did that in the beginning as well. So when you're there, you want to be actively listening to the person. The bond with the animal is great, but you've got to be more into the person while you're having a one-on your first chance to impress the person. Yes, the pet needs to like you. Well, it would be great if the pet likes you. Sometimes cats just don't care. But yeah, you want to make sure that you're focused on the owner and not distracted by the pet. It will show that you're able to distinguish professionally from being someone who loves animals and someone who is doing this as a job, as a profession. And yeah, interact positively with the pet and demonstrate your confidence with them, and you'll probably end up stroking, petting the pet and all that, but you'll be focused on the client. You should be anyway. So after you've had your meet and greet, you should have your paperwork filled in. Sometimes you might want to leave the contract form with the owner to finish filling in themselves, because they'll need to check their veterinary records, etc., etc., etc. You can arrange to either have them mail it back to you, or what I prefer is to take photographs of the completed forms, send them via WhatsApp or Messenger or email. Whichever one they choose, just make sure you're consistent that which one you choose for them to return it via. Email is probably the most reliable because everyone has an email, and then you've got a good place to store it as well. If you've got Gmail, for example, you've got your cloud storage and everything. Right. So the other thing, and after the, you also need to have the actual document. So in the case where they would send you a photograph, ask them to include the forms in the travel pack of the animals stuff. You'll confirm your next steps. So that means you need to tell the client what's concerned in time-wise. You need to get the time of arrival sorted out. Make sure that they bring what they're required. Again, in the Boarding Act, it sets out what you should ask the client to provide for you. So that's easily found. And keep everything professional. Yes, you can send emoji. I try in the current times, emoji is very much an effective way of communications. But I wouldn't be signing off with XXX to a new customer. An emoji of a smile, a laugh, a love heart, or something. These are things that show that you're happy and enjoying, but I wouldn't overuse them. Try to be as honest as possible about things, but keep it professional. Right, so your kind of assignment, should you choose to accept it, is is down here somewhere, a share. Right. So take your time today. It won't take long. So this I will share with you just quickly what your task is from this live. If I could find the share button, it would be hilarious. Share. Just share. There. Da, 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 screen sharing. So, today, well, we've got 18 minutes left of our hour. So if you take 20 minutes or less, say take 15 minutes, and get yourself your meet and greet pack together. Print off what you need, practice your introduction, what questions you're going to ask, and make sure that you have the right outfits. Schedule a practice, like offer a free meet and greet with a friend's pet, or I would just say a meet and greet. I generally wouldn't charge for a meet and greet in my business. That's entirely up to you if you choose to do that. But for me, it should be a compulsory part of the transaction, is that you meet and greet before you take care of the pet. I am going to be filling in for a friend in the industry. I'm going to be taking a couple of dogs for a walk while she's on holiday. Only I don't usually do the dog walking portion of the pet care because I'm on here doing coaching more nowadays. So I usually only have to go walking with the dogs that are boarded with me, or my own dog when there's no dogs boarded with me, which is always fun. It's always good to have that scheduled into my morning. Uh, but yeah, I have arranged, I've set out a specific contract for um, doing the dog walking part, and I arranged a meet and greet. And this is going to be the first new meet and greet that I've had for quite some time. But I'm prepared. I'm not worried at all. I've got everything I need. I've created everything I've got. I've got an appointment to meet with the person, and another appointment to be made to meet up with the dogs on an actual walk with the regular walker. So lots of exciting things going on there. All right, let's have a look at this. Emma's finished of her story. No. Ha, sorry. I remember why I kept this slide up here, but yes, um, when it came down to that first meet and greet that I turned up with all the papers that I needed and all the questions that I needed, dressed smartly, and won my 17-year contract. Um, when I came back from the holiday, um, that was, I think, the best part. That's the moment that you know that you've done the right job. You've done a great job, is when you see what the owners say when they come back, when they see the how their house is being left, for example. And do not discount what I've been saying and warning you about it today, is that there's cameras everywhere. People have cameras in their home to monitor their pets quite often. They have Ring doorbell cameras, and there's dash cams going around on every other car out there. Uh, I would just be mindful of that. Don't act up for it. Just be normal and be professional at all times. Um, so what had happened was I'd done the job. I'd looked after the cats. Everything was clean. Everything was tidy. I mopped the kitchen floor because I'd tracked in a little bit of dirt going out to the bins and things. I made sure I hoovered the house to make sure there was no cat litter that had been scattered around the carpets. Um, all the clean bowls were, instead of sitting on the drying rack, I dried them up and put everything back in its place, kept everything tidy, um, made sure that there was nothing out of place at all. Nervous as a wreck, coming back to hand the keys back, and oh, ah, what? Look at, I just couldn't believe what you'd done. Did you actually hoover? How did you figure out my hoover? Oh, that's fantastic. And as it went on, there was a couple of times when the cats were getting older that they really were having a lot more furball issues. And it got to the point where I'd bought a Vax for my own home for boarding, because I now run the carpet shampooer over every other month, just to keep the dirt down in the house. But it's easy enough to pop it in the back of my car, take it to somebody else's house, and shampoo the carpet quickly. It really is. Uh, but that's just kind of the level of professionalism that I bring to the job. And you can compare that to these dog walking companies that don't have contracts with the owners, that don't seem to have pet first aid or insurance or anything because of the treatment that they've given to the animals and the lies they have told the customer. Customer is always right, remember that. Um, be yourself. You know, you know, don't be too nervous. Interviews are important. They're great. You need to make a fun first impression, but it's okay. Once you get used to it, once you've done that first one and you get the gushing reward of, yeah, I got the job. Um, then we also have you know, the the next interview is going to go better because you know the first one's gone great. You know, you got far more confidence in yourself, and that's what we're really looking to help you find in your own business. Uh, I'm here to help you in the way that I was helped when I started out, giving all the information there was and letting you use it as you wish, but getting all the information that works is what I'm doing. So I hope that helps you, and I hope that it leads to lots more going on. Uh, we're a bit early. Oh, I've had some wonderful messages from Danny. I didn't see them come up. Well, thank you, Danny. Yes, it was a tough course. We did. Danny and I were at university together, and yes, we we were put through a cauldron of fire. Oh dear. But yes, thank you very much for logging in today. Yes, it's a bit early going finished, but I'm glad that I managed to get that up out the way. Next time, we're going to be doing something very exciting because we've done all your preparation, what you need to do to get a client. Now we're going to try and get clients. So next week, we're going to be studying the art of marketing yourself, because by now you should have your documents for boarding license will be in by now if you did it when I said. And you have all your preparation, your pack sorted out. And so we're going to go and figure out how to get business. And just for you guys, I've enrolled in a course to help improve my skills in marketing so that I can help improve your skills in marketing. Now, given that I am already doing really nicely on my business, I can only imagine that it will improve mine. And if I can get that done before next week, I imagine that should be easy enough, then I will pass on my wisdom and learning to you as the first people to see it. So that's exciting. You'll get a sneak preview before it's added into my Pause and Profits Pathway mentorship program, which, like I said, I'll be starting to advertise that webinar explaining what the Pause and Profits Pathway course gives you in the next couple of weeks. And you will get if you tune in next week, you'll get the information about your marketing, your online marketing from me before I start charging for it. Right. Take care. Have a great week. Finally having a little bit of dry weather today here in Scotland. The schools went back recently, so of course it has been raining ever since. Just traditional Scottish weather. And thanks for listening. Yeah. I feel glad that I finally got this finished with, because the construction really did delay, and I've been thinking about this for the last 3 weeks now. So have a lovely weekend, and I will speak to you all next week. Watch out for any updates about my Pause and Profits Pathway. They will be coming to this group in the very near future. Cheerio!